It's time once again for everybody to come aboard that one and done train. Welcome to One and Done. Bienvenidos a todos a One and Done, your fast break of college basketball information. My name is Jay Heinrich. I'm the conductor of the aforementioned One and Done train, joined tonight on your viewing device by the man known around these parts as El Capitan himself, at MC Holland 34 on X, the comma chaser. It's Mr. Mike Holland. Another week of college hoops is in the books, and that means it's time for our weekly news and notes show. And the OGs in the chat know that means you're in store for an opening possession from both me and Mike. Of course, we're going to give you our favorite headlines for the week. And then, guys, only 3 weeks left, right, Mike? 3 weeks until we have a bracket.
Yeah.
We're bringing back the One and Done Bubble Watch segment. Why not? Who doesn't love a good bubble segment, right? You get everyone's favorite segment in college basketball. The Mid-Major Minute is here. Of course it is. And then you get the One and Done Top 25 Power Rankings, with which, of course, are renowned throughout the galaxy. So stick around for that for sure. Hit the like and subscribe buttons if you haven't already. Smash the notification bells and hop in the chat. Let's enjoy the next half hour or so of college basketball talk. And it all starts with Mike's opening possession. Mike, what'd it do?
What an awesome weekend of hoops. I mean, we basically got a potential Final Four preview, which we've been talking about for since last week. And we had 1v3 and 2v4 in the AP Top 25. Also our top four that we had on the One and Done Power Rankings, which we'll do later as well. We'll see how those shake out after these results. And Arizona and Duke coming up big in those matchups. Tommy Lloyd and his Wildcats go into Houston and get a 73-66 win. Arizona holding Houston to under 36% from the field. Only turned it over 5 times. That's definitely going to get it done. Anthony Orso has looked unstoppable the last couple of games. Coming off the bench, he had 22 points. Ivan Kurchenkov, he's pretty spectacular on both ends of the floor. When you look at Houston, the depth issue, it kind of continues to rear its head in some of these tougher matchups. If their starters aren't getting it done, like Flemings and Sharp, who really struggled, they don't really have anything else that they can go to. So they had a little bit of foul trouble too, and that put them in a tough spot, and the Arizona defense just made them uncomfortable. Then we had Duke hold off Michigan 68-63 in Washington, D.C., Duke shockingly dominating the glass 37-25 in this matchup. And Boozer's playmaking was the difference. He finished with 19 points, 10 boards, 7 assists. One advantage Michigan has is its size. They start the 3 bigs. But Duke, one of the biggest teams in the country, the second biggest team in the country. So they really didn't have to change what they do. Their guards for the last couple of years have always been big. I thought Caleb Foster played a very solid game. He outperformed the backcourt for Michigan, which was a major letdown. Elliot Cadeau, 1 for 8 from the floor. McKinney, 1 for 6. Namari Burnett, a non-factor in 17 minutes. You cannot have that if you're a Michigan, especially if you're going to play a 3-big lineup. You can't get out-rebounded as well. Those guys are going to miss those shots. So, just kind of an interesting take from that game. But both games delivered, and hey, I'd be down to watch these 4 teams in Indianapolis in April. So I wouldn't mind running that back. And then, Jay, a quick point here. Tennessee starting to heat up, man. 2 things for the Vols, 4 straight wins, 4 straight games holding SEC opponents under 70, and their stars, Gillespie and Amen, are playing great. We've talked about their step back from the elite level defense to, I would say, great defense, right, that they're playing this year, but just not at that elite level. Early in SEC play, they gave up 86 to Arkansas, 91 to Florida, 82 to Texas A&M, 80 to Kentucky, 85 to Georgia. Not used to that. They went into Vanderbilt yesterday and delivered. Going to be a dangerous out in March if they continue playing this way on the defensive end.
I didn't want to interrupt you because you were on a roll there. And, the Michigan thing, it's possible that with all of the good that comes from the one and done rub, maybe we talk so good about Michigan the last time we talked about them on this show that it was just meant for a little bit of a disappointment. But no, all seriousness, that's the blueprint, right? If you out physical and you out rebound Michigan, that's how you got to get it done against that team for sure. So my opening possession, Mike, Virginia stating their case as a top 4 seed with a road win at Miami. We know the knock on the Cavaliers, of course, has been the strength of schedule, right? With the jokes about the conference and all that stuff. But last Saturday, they picked up a neutral site win over Ohio State and then got that Miami game on Saturday 86-83. So sitting at 24-3 right now, 12-2. Mike, a very impressive 12-2 in the ACC with a much stronger resume than we might have expected them to have at the beginning of the season. Big test on the horizon for them this week coming up as Will Wade and NC State come to town on Tuesday and then traveling to Duke. That's right, Duke on Saturday. So NC State and Duke, a big week for Virginia. Let's see if they can get it done. And what really amounts to the last two regular season games that they have a chance to, impress that committee, right? These are the last they're going to face. Excuse me. That it's going to give them a chance to boost that resume. So shout out to Ryan Odom for doing a great job there in his first season with the Cavaliers. Second part of my opening possession here, Mike.
What do you got?
See that ridiculous comeback. Or, either if you're Illinois, it was the collapse, right? But UCLA completes the epic comeback here, and it looks like, in different times, in different parts of the game, in different post-game interviews, it looks like the wheels are just falling completely off of this Bruins program. Are you raising your voice at me, Mike?
Yeah, so good.
Mick Cronin, man, like what a guy. But, if it works, it works. And when it doesn't, it really doesn't. You're getting blown out by combined 62 points in the previous two games. Is there a bigger wild card in the country than UCLA? They're one of the biggest, man, for sure, as we head toward March. So middle of the pack in conference play in both offensive and defensive efficiency, but they are able to make those big upsets thanks to taking care of the ball. You can shoot the three. And if you didn't know, they have a guy that you've probably heard of. His name's Donovan Dent, and he runs the point guard for them. He runs the point for them. So, I'm just saying, if you don't turn the ball over, Mike, how often do we talk on this show about not turning the ball over? Take care of the ball, and you shoot it good from deep, and then you got a guy that can get it to the playmakers, or he is the playmaker. You got a guy that can get it to the people that are going to score the buckets.
Yep.
I don't know, man. Even the fit, right? Like, that's the whole thing about Donovan Dent in this team. Like, the fit really hasn't been the prettiest, but very few guys you want the ball in their hands more down the stretch than Donovan Dent. Our guy Cam hopping in the chat, the godfather of Iowa bowling.
What happened to Iowa, Cam? What happened to Iowa?
Let us know, man. Let us know in the chat. Another fun Cronin interview off the hook. Hey, listen, I'm all for grouchy coaches after losses. Like, that doesn't bother me. It is who these guys are, right? Oh, Ryan, our guy, Ryan Osterman from Bracket Bid said he lost a little faith in Illinois with that collapse against UCLA. Let us know what you think if you're on the same page with Ryan there or not in the chat. All right, Mike, let's keep it going here. And, of course, we talked about it at the Open. It's time for that bubble talk, man. Bubble talk. We're doing it here on One and Done. We like our guy Lenardi. Let's use some of his bracketology numbers here as of Saturday night, at least. Multi-bid leagues, SEC with 11, Big Ten with 10, ACC with 8. Shout out to the ACC having as many potential bids here as the Big 12. That's right. It's the Big 12. Go play intramurals, brother. That's the wrong sport. Anyways, 3 for the Big East, 3 for the WCC. Okay, so we're kind of getting back up to at least where we thought that one might be. But the shocker, right, Mike, the shocker in terms of multi-bid leagues is that the Mountain West is not on that list currently. A 1-bid league right now. A little bit shocking there for sure. I want to get your take on that for sure. After I talk about these bubble teams, right? Last 4 in, Missouri and Ohio State coming off losses. TCU and Santa Clara. Those are the last 4 in right now. Last 4 out, USC, New Mexico, Cal, and Virginia Tech. And the next 4 out, San Diego State, VCU, Seton Hall, and West Virginia. Of those 2 that took losses in the last 4 in, Mike, out of Missouri and Ohio State, which one do you think is on the outside looking in?
Yeah, I'm pretty worried about Missouri, man. Like, you look at their resume, it's pretty rough. 346 strength of schedule, non-con. They don't really have a signature win outside of SEC play. And, the one tough opponent that they did play, Kansas, they lost by 20 at a neutral site. So that's not going to do them any favors. Now in conference, they do have wins over Florida, Kentucky, and Vanderbilt. But I don't know, man. I just don't love when these teams, they don't play anybody. They kind of wait until SEC or Georgia try to do the same thing, right? They're both not playing anybody. And then they're just kind of trying to rack up, quad one wins in the SEC play. So
yeah,
I don't know, man. I don't think that's enough to get it done. Like, they're gonna have to do some things down the stretch here. What are your thoughts here?
I think they're excuse me. I think they're a team that does have the ability to play their way in if they win their games, right? Like if you look at their schedule, they do have an opportunity with Tennessee at home on Tuesday. That'd be a nice one to get on their resume. And then they finish with Arkansas. That's another opportunity to get a nice win that could boost that resume a little bit. What you can't do is afford to go on the road and lose to Mississippi State or Oklahoma. Neither one of those things can happen, right? You got to get both of those, and then you need to beat Tennessee or Arkansas, and probably both of them really to feel great about where you are right here. But if you're Missouri, at least this is in front of you here. You have an opportunity to really play your way in if you take care of business. So it's a tough road, but they can do it. You get another win in SEC tournament play, and then who knows, right? Missouri could play their way in, and that's all you can ask for in this spot. All right, are we really going to expand the tournament? Are we doing it? I don't know, man.
Sounds like it.
Yeah. For Santa Clara to make it. And love it, Ryan. Keep it up. Keep it going. Keep the chat going here as we move on now. A little bit of Mountain West talk on the bubble. Mike, what is going on? We talked about them not in multi-bid league right now, and that's not exactly what we've grown to expect from what has been one of our favorite leagues in the entire country to cover. Utah State currently in, and then San Diego State and New Mexico both on the outside looking in.
This makes zero sense to me, Jay. Literally zero sense. I know the non-con performance, for the Mountain West, it wasn't great. But you can't have the WCC behind the A10 in strength of conference metrics on KenPom and take 3 teams. And then you have the Mountain West ahead of both of those conferences with 1. I know San Diego State's coming on back-to-back losses, and they put themselves in a tough spot. But still, there's still 6 teams in the top 70 of KenPom. New Mexico's won 3 straight. Unless they just both collapse down the stretch, one of them has to get in. I would think regardless, right? We know Utah State's in. The legit shot for 6 teams to win the conference tourney as a bid stealer, so that's probably going to help. So as long as the Utah State doesn't do the double-double, they're going to have at least 2 in, Jay. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me, man, just based on just based on what we've seen from them, man. It feels at least like you need 2 teams from the Mountain West.
Does it feel to you like this league is getting punished for recent tournament performance? I mean, you think about that run that San Diego State made 3 years ago. It feels a little bit longer than that. You know what I'm saying? I know that was only 3 years ago, 2023, as they made that run to the national title game. Obviously, Lamont Butler hitting the buzzer beater in the semifinal to send them to the championship game. That feels like an eternity ago, man. So this is sort of shaping up to be a play-in game, I think, this coming Saturday. San Diego State traveling to New Mexico here. And both teams play Utah State one more time, too. So an action-packed end to this conference schedule here. And there's still time to get a multi-bid situation out of this conference, regardless of Mountain West tournament results. This still feels like there's going to be at least one more spot to squeeze out for the Mountain West, man.
This feels like that. What was it, a couple of years ago when the Big East got second or third in the KenPom strength of conference, and they gave them 3 teams, and they left St. John's and Seton Hall out. I mean, come on, man. We can't put Santa Clara in when the WCC is behind the A10. So, all right, get off the soapbox now.
Hey, no, I mean, we got 3 weeks to break this all down. 3 weeks from tonight, we're going to have a bracket here, and we're going to be talking about it here on One and Done. So make sure you hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bells on YouTube. If you're watching on X, we appreciate you. Do that little thing where you scroll down and open up in the YouTube app. Get over there, push the like and subscribe buttons, okay? Drop a comment in the chat. Turn on the notification bells because we're bringing you DFS content, our news and notes. We're live reacting to games throughout the week. You're going to get one of those from us this coming Wednesday. You're going to get a DFS show from us on Friday. So make sure you push all those buttons so you don't miss anything, including, what's become a staple around here and everyone's favorite segment in college basketball every Sunday right here on One and Done. It's time for the Mid-Major Minute.
All right, what have we got cooked up on this week's edition of the Mid-Major Minute? We're just going to take a quick look at conferences around the country that are coming down to the wire. We'll start in the Sun Belt, where Appalachian State has a half-game lead over Troy, Marshall, South Alabama, with Texas State one full game behind Appalachian State. And guess what? Appalachian State's traveling to Texas State to try and lock up at least a share of the regular season title. So exciting things happening down in the Sun Belt. We'll switch over to the Ohio Valley Conference. You have SEMO, Tennessee State, Moorhead, all tied at 13-5 in conference with 2 games to go. Moorhead has the easiest schedule left of the 3 teams, but SEMO and Tennessee State actually have a matchup against each other coming up this Thursday. That's going to be big in determining who is going to win the regular season crown. And finally, the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference, Howard holds a half-game lead over Morgan State and a 1-game lead over Norfolk State heading into the final 3 to 4 games there. It's going to get good because 2 of the last 3 games for Howard are at Morgan State and at Norfolk State. Oh, and then, by the way, Morgan State and Norfolk State meet on Monday, March the 2nd. So, yes, the MEAC might be dead last and shrink the conference, but the drama down the stretch is going to be a lot of fun. And hey, don't look now, but conference tournaments start March the 2nd. So we're going to have league winners trying to earn auto bids from the mids in 2 weeks. Can't wait. And that'll wrap up this week's edition of the Mid-Major Minute.
Banger. Love that one. Hop in the chat. Let Mike know what you think about the old mid-majors and what's going on. That we love us some mid-majors around here on One and Done for sure. I can't believe it. Conference tournaments are 2 weeks away.
Isn't that crazy? Like, what happened? It's just like December the other day.
Not even less than 2 weeks away.
Yeah.
They're right here, man. I mean, it's the most exciting time of the year for us here on One and Done for sure. And we're happy that you're joining us to chop it up about it. So make sure you hop in the chat, hit the like and subscribe buttons, turn on the notification bells, join. I think we have we're on our way. I don't know our exact number of people that have pushed that button, but I do know that we're on our way to 11 gazillion fulfillion and 1 subscribers. We're on our way there for sure. So make sure you push those buttons on our way there. And let's not mess around anymore. All the people throughout the galaxy, beings, not just people, beings throughout the galaxy here are screaming with jubilation as we open up the One and Done Top 25 Power Rankings right here on a Sunday. And guess who's at number 25, Mike? Miami of Ohio, because they have not lost. And as long as they continue to keep it rolling, they are going to continue to hold down that number 25 spot in our power rankings for sure. The Billikens of St. Louis at 24, the Badgers of Wisconsin at 23. It's weird to see Tennessee down here this, consecutive weeks below number 20, but that's just sort of where they are, right? No, actually, we bumped them up, right? We bumped them up into the rankings. That's right. So up into 22 now, but still sort of weird seeing them. Louisville at number 21. St. Louis picked up that L at Rhode Island this week, dropping them back a little bit. But what are your thoughts on this first tier?
Yeah, I mean, Wisconsin jumping in here, Tennessee jumping back in here. Look, it's been a pretty impressive 2-week stretch for Wisconsin. They beat Iowa today. They picked up wins against Illinois and Michigan State last week. So definitely liking what we see offensively from Wisconsin. Now it's just going to be whether or not they can get some stops, but definitely a team you probably don't want to see on a 4 or 5 line. As a 1 or a 2 here. And then, hey, man, Tennessee back into our top 25. So I expect them to kind of stay here if they're going to play this type of defense. And then Louisville remaining unchanged, even though they took an L at SMU. You get to look at the overall resume. And, yeah, they're knocking on the door of being a top 20 team.
Nobody wants to play Tennessee as a 5 seed. They don't. And if they end up somewhere around that line, Like, that's just asking for trouble, honestly. And it is, but we'll see what happens if they can pick up some wins here in SEC play. Let's keep the chat going. Let's keep the top 25 going as we go to numbers 20 through 16 in our power rankings here. Coming in at number 20, BYU played Arizona. Pretty tough at the midweek game that they had. And then got that big-time win over Iowa State at home. A tough loss with Richie Saunders obviously going out, Mike, for them. But have you heard of AJ DeBonsa?
Dude, he's ridiculous.
He's pretty good. He's pretty good, and he's playing all 40 minutes. He's not subbing himself out of games. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
I love that.
I'm just saying he played 40, and he's willing to play 40 minutes, and he's good. So BYU's in any game that they're on the court because of him, for sure. And then at 19, Texas Tech, Mike, falling back after losing at Arizona State, and even worse after losing JT Toppin for the season. That's a tough loss.
Yeah, that's tough, man. Dropping back 7 spots. It's just, it's going to be rough for them. That guy obviously is a top 3 player in the country. So when you talk about college basketball, and the whole team is kind of built around his skill set. So really tough spot there as Dave C. Hustle celebrating the old Arizona State win there. Arkansas falling back a few spots here, Jay. 3 spots. Had an overtime thriller out Alabama this week, but just couldn't finish it off. Some depth concerns there too, man. Nebraska took another L from a quality opponent at Iowa. It's kind of hard to feel confident in their ceiling just based on their tough stretch run. They'd lost all those games that we were like, okay, come in undefeated. Now all of a sudden you're 23-4. So, predictable, but still obviously a great job there by Hoiberg, and St. John's moving up a couple of spots, just running their Big East win streak to 13 games. The Big East it just is what it is this year, Jay.
I don't even know if there's a better way to talk about that conference other than it is what it is.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not. Yeah, it is what it is. And that is what is the bottom 10 in our top 25 power rankings. Hit the like and subscribe buttons as we move on now to teams 15 through 11 here. Coming in at number 15, it's the Alabama Crimson Tide, who pulled off a nice win over Arkansas. And their SEC win streak is up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Shout out to Tide for winning 6 straight in the SEC. And then at number 14, I got my shot in earlier, my sub-tweet, whatever you want to call it, without saying his name, Mr. Business Decision himself, Darren Peterson. There's not a more confusing team in the country than the Jayhawks, who got blown out at home on Saturday against Cincinnati. Darren Peterson is subbing himself out of games still. Up to this point, it really hasn't seemed like it's affected the psyche of the team. Like, I don't know, man. It's just a very confusing situation there, and I'm not a fan of it. Maybe he just flips a switch in March. I don't know, man. What are your thoughts on Kansas and the rest of this year?
Maybe he had like a season-long minutes limit, and so maybe he just didn't tell Bill Self that it's a season-long minutes limit. So
this is amazing. You, of all people, you are the positive one in this situation here. Yeah. This is amazing to me. I love it.
There's a picture going around online where like the 4 teammates are huddling. He's like walking on the court. At least he played 30+ minutes in this one. I don't know, man. Like, it just is what it is. So just a weird situation, man. But I don't want to pick them in a bracket because I have no idea. Like, literally could get bounced in the first round or could literally be in the Final Four. That is insane. But North Carolina remaining unchanged. Yes, they have obviously the injury to deal with Caleb Wilson, but got blown out at NC State. Not great. So why do they stay the same? Well, they had a nice solid win at Syracuse. And then I'm not going to punish them for Caleb Wilson being out. And then they were also missing Basar in that NC State game, which would have changed a lot of things. And obviously you saw what he could do this weekend returning and what he did to that Syracuse interior. And then Michigan State holding both opponents this week to 60 points, 59-60 there. So playing some really good defense. And Virginia making a nice move after their recent performance, Jay, but knocking on the door of top 10. But you outlined the old schedule coming up this week, man. They could fall out of this tier if they don't get one of those games. So interesting to see.
They could fall out of this here, or they could bump themselves up one with a couple of nice wins here coming up this week. So that is 15 through 11 on our power rankings. And even though he's the godfather of Iowa bowling, he is our resident heel head. Is that a thing? Heel head? We're going to make it one. And he is right. Like, North Carolina is just in like hang on mode until Wilson's back. And then you got to hope that he's at least 90% of himself, because if he's not, it won't matter. So shout out to Cam for just knowing what it is, what it is. And there it is. It is what it is. That's what North Carolina is right now. They are who we thought they were. We'll see if they can get their star back. Let's get into the top 10 of our power rankings here as we're moving along on one and done on news and notes Sunday. Number 10, Illinois. The collapse at UCLA will be something they have to get over quickly. Have that goldfish-like memory. Immediately, boom. Got to get over it real fast. Otherwise, that's something that can sort of, out of nowhere, you're slipping and you're sliding, and then before you know it, your season slips away. That's one of those things that you just don't want that to affect you. And I think they'll have to get right, man. Do they have a choice with Michigan coming to town on Friday? Like, if you sulk around Michigan coming off that loss that they just took, you think they're going to be feeling sorry for you? No, man. Like, that's going to be a fantastic matchup. And Illinois. I don't know that Illinois has to win that one, but they have to be in it. You know, they can't have their daubers down that whole time in that game. They can't get blown out. Let's just say that. And then one more for me, Mike. Iowa State at number 9 beat Houston, right, and then turned around and loses to the shorthanded BYU squad. The Big 12 is tough, man. It's the Big 12, literally. The Big 12 is just a fantastic league. And Iowa State beating Houston, not surprising. BYU beating Iowa State, really not all that surprising. But then when you think about the Saunders loss in there for BYU, that is sort of one of those things. It's going on right now in this league. But Iowa State's a solid team at number 9 in our rankings.
Yeah, and then we finished it off here. You know, here's the thing: Gonzaga and cruise control in the ACC. We're just going to keep saying that, right? ACC, Big Ten, SEC just continue to beat each other up. What's going to happen with Gonzaga? They're going to slide up our rankings, but I still feel like, you know, it's deserved. They have a team that can get to a Final Four, and then, hey, here we go, Florida, 12-2 in SEC play. I don't know if this train's going to stop anytime soon, Jay. And then Connecticut and St. John's just racking up wins till they play each other, which they do this week, and we may or may not react to that midweek tease.
Oh! Did you hear that, broskies and broskets? You might have the tease for what our Wednesday reaction show is going to be right there. Make sure you hit all those buttons, notification bells as well, so you don't miss that one right there. I don't know, man. Like, it just feels like this top 5 or so is set. And let's get to it here. I'm going to get to your point there about Devon St. Peterson as we wrap this up, Cam. But I want to get to the top 5 first. We're not penalizing Purdue for losing to Michigan midweek. We're not. That this is still a really, really good team. And when TKR, like, we reacted to that game, and that was one of those things where Michigan exerted their will and made Purdue try to out-physical them. And, of course, that's not going to happen with Purdue's size. And then you have Duke, who plays Michigan and says, we don't have – we're big anyway, right? This is who we are. So can Purdue overcome some of those matchup disadvantages that they're going to have against these top teams? That's left to be seen, but there's still a top 5 team for us here on one and done, and probably keeping them ahead of UConn because of the strength of conferences, right? We believe in that quite a bit here on one and done, as Mike was saying earlier, like with some of this stuff. So we'll keep them ahead of UConn for now, Mike. Round out our top 4 here, man. I mean, listen, Michigan had the 1 week up at number 1. Arizona back in the number 1 spot here. What do you think about our top? And again, Houston, obviously Houston takes the loss. And I'll say it every week. If we open up the show and I look at this and we're talking about our top 25 and Houston would just magically show up as number 1, I'm never going to argue with you about it.
Yeah.
They didn't look like the number 1 team in the country this week, but I'm never going to argue with you there about Houston. So anyways, get to our top 4 here, man. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, man. So obviously Duke and Arizona coming out victorious in that the the Final Four matchup that we had this past weekend. So Arizona coming in at number 1. I still think Arizona and Michigan are probably the 2 most complete teams, but I'm impressed with close your ears, Cam. I'm impressed with Duke, man. Like Boozer's creativity. I didn't know that he was this good of a playmaker. I knew he was a good playmaker, but man, he was making all the right reads. He's just a monster and changes the game on the offensive end. He was able to play through foul trouble, which picked up 4 fouls it was like midway through the second half there. So yeah, for me, I think it's Arizona, Michigan. We're talking about it all year, kind of a tier above, right, Jay? I think Duke's kind of knocking on that door, while Houston with their depth issues, I think, are just slightly beneath them. But I really think it's those 4. Florida's coming though, and I don't know what to think of UConn because it's just they don't really for 3 months they haven't really had much competition. 2.5 months, so pretty tough, man. Saying they're Houston's the Juwan Roberts away from winning a title. They're like one guy short. Like I think it was the backcourt. I'm going to keep bringing it up. Pop Isaacs was committed to them. Uzan comes back out of the draft. Pop Isaacs bolts for Texas A&M. If there was a Pop Isaacs in this backcourt, like just someone else, and he's an offensive-minded guy, like just someone else that you can bring off the bench. It's like, man, like Sharp's not getting it going. They don't have that. It's like, nah, okay, Sharp, you're 2 for 12, and he's just going to keep going out there and shooting instead of maybe giving him a break. He's got to stay out there, try to play through it. Now he's a veteran, but it just would have been nice to have, just kind of a microwave guy off the bench for them because they're going to play defense. So, but ultimately, Jay, it comes down to the same thing I've been saying every week: Arizona and Michigan for me, man. Even though we have Duke at 2 now because they deservedly won that game the other night.
We're just setting myself up here for my eventual pick of Arizona, as I do seemingly every season, and they just waffling back and forth in and out of this number 1 spot, but never waffling out of the number 1 spot in my heart, Wildcats. Okay,
there it is.
Believe that for sure. How about it? That's a top 5 right there. Do you agree with our top 5? Arizona, Duke, Michigan, Houston, and Purdue. Let us know in the chat. Let us know in the comments. If you're watching in the morning, eating your Cheerios like Darren said, you didn't miss another. It wasn't all SEC love, my friend. Good to see you, though, in the live chat, of course. You might have to watch the first half of the video with, of course, what for most people is the best part of waking up is one and done in your cup. You got to do it. So appreciate you, Darren. Thanks for hopping in there for sure. Before we get out of here, Cam, you brought up DeBonsa earlier being better than Peterson. I know it's popular to pile on right now, and I am as guilty if anybody is driving this narrative of Darren Peterson, not wanting to play or whatever it might be. That is a talented man. That is a talented man. AJ DeBonsa is plenty talented, sure.
What a year for the freshman.
But man, Darren Peterson, everything aside, that's a guy. Now, here's a guy that's probably going to be the number 1 pick in the draft. Unlike somebody that I like, Patrick Mahomes. All right, all right. Good stuff there, everybody. And we got to somehow work an NFL reference in to our half-hour college basketball show. Chris Collinsworth impressions at the end of the show. It's been a long week, but it's been a fun week of college basketball for sure. And we're happy that you joined us to break it all down here on One and Done. Hit all those buttons. Shout out to our guy Nate pushing the buttons tonight. Shout out to our guy Eric, the Blue, for getting the studio set up and doing his thing behind the scenes. We definitely appreciate him for sure. You know who else I appreciate? The man sharing your viewing device with me, the man around here known as El Capitan himself, the captain of the One and Done ship at MC Holland 34 on X, the OG Money Mike, Mr. Mike Holland. Thanks to everybody for hanging out in the chat today. Go Mean Green. Darren, I saw they picked up that nice victory there last second and to put some time back on the clock. Watch the end of that game. Go Mean Green, Darren, and go everybody that hopped in the chat tonight. How about that? Shout out to everybody, Cam, Nape, everybody that always stops in. We appreciate you. We'll see you on Wednesday. Oh, Ryan Osherman, of course, our friends over at Brackenridge, right? We will see you on Wednesday for our live reaction to St. John's at UConn. It's going to be a fun one, and we hope that you join us then. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Tell somebody that you love them. My name is Jayheinrich. Come again. We'll see you.